Endgame Play was the last book we had a look at. Now we're going to have a look at Thinking Inside the Box, the final book in the Grandmaster Preparation series. We've been through, we've been through the 5 workbooks, so books that focus on the reader solving problems and racking their brain to perform over the board. Now we're going to have a look at something much easier to read. This book, Thinking Inside the Box, you could call it the Harry Potter of Jakob Aagaard's books. It's the only easy read I've ever held in my hands written by Grandmaster Aagaard. Now, what's Thinking Inside the Box? Thinking Inside the Box, as you're going to hear in the interview I did with Mr. Aagaard a bit later on in the video, is a book about everything, and everything related to chess improvement. And I have to say, even though this may sound wrong, I really like reading chess books you can actually read. So this is a book you can read. It's not a workbook. There are some problems to solve, a few. There are a couple of Jakob Aagaard's games, which he chose to show. But there are mostly interesting tidbits of advice, information, and concepts one could apply. Now, you shouldn't take this book and try to apply everything that's in there. It doesn't work that way. You can choose small pieces of advice that could apply to your chess, which is why I think this book is a great resource for people, for chess players who have covered the basics in all areas of chess, both on and off the board. And then what you can do is you can go through Thinking Inside the Box and you can try to improve the segments of your play or of your chess training or of your life in general by listening to what he has to say. The book is divided into chapters. They are simple but difficult. The Psychology of Chess Improvement, which might be my favorite one. Who are you, meaning different types of players. Decision making, 4 types of decisions, which is basically what strategic play was about. Simple decisions, which is the first type of decisions from strategic play. What is calculation, which I think is a priceless chapter, where GM Aagaard, who is one of the most accomplished coaches and authors ever, explains what calculation is and how to calculate. The next chapter is calculation process, then abstract thinking, strategic concepts, dynamic strategic concepts, openings, analyze your own games, and training methods. Now, there is an appendix to the book, or appendices, where he goes into non-chess related stuff like nutrition and advanced engine management, which personally I don't think were necessary, but they are a fine addition. And you can read them as well. I want to read a couple of things. Again, I've put papers in the book to make this easier, but they were too small. I need to get bigger papers, like bookmarks. So the second chapter on the psychology of chess improvement is, again, my favorite one. And the part of the chapter that deals with training has these segments. Start gently. Then he says, the more challenging something is, the more likely it is that there will be a moment when you are going to give up. I should say that the international master mentioned above recently told me that he was failing on his goal of doing 6 one-hour-long calculation sessions per week. This is coming from a man with a full-time job, an upcoming wedding, la 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 la. Yes, 6 hours a week is going to do great things long-term for his chess, but as a goal, it's stressful. I would set it at 15 minutes a day. And hearing something like this from Jakob Aagaard, who's a grandmaster, who's written, I don't know how many books, feels good. Hearing that, you can start slow, you can do a bit of work every day and stay consistent is good. Then forgive yourself when you fail. This is the most important one. I've seen various studies suggesting that it takes between 8 and 20 attempts for the average smoker to quit, and so on and so on. Then the next segment is bright line thinking. Then bad habits and how to fix them. Goal setting. Where there is a way, there is will. Regarding limitations, now I like this. It talks about the limitations of your potential and talent. Then improvement is found just outside your comfort zone. This actually might be the most important one. And hearing him say that progress is where comfort ends, even though I've heard that before, is it feels good to reassure that point. Then we have focus on doing the training correctly, not on solving correctly. I want to read you this part. When we solve exercises, it's important to focus on the skills you are trying to develop. I personally insist that my students start their exercises with the 3 questions, his questions from positional play, where the weakness is, what does my opponent want to do, and what's the worst placed piece, and the candidate search. I encourage them to slow down in their calculation, to notice resistance, to look for candidates at the end of their variations. I think that part is very important, instead of making emotional evaluations. And then we have a part on triggers, on preparation, and so on. I just think this is a remarkable chapter which would help anyone. And gems like this one are scattered throughout the book. Then there's a division by Mark Dvoretsky of players into 4 types that Aagaard suggests in the book. Mark Dvoretsky, in a footnote in one of his books, divided player into 4 different groups based on a 2-way axis of whether a player was logical or intuitive, and whether or not he was dynamic or technical. And I mean, this part is interesting. You can find out what type of player you are. But for example, logical and technical, Aagaard lists Botvinnik, Gelfand, and Korchnoi. Logical and dynamic, he lists Kasparov and Topalov. Intuitive and technical, Karpov and Carlsen, and so on. I think that this is really interesting. It might be fun for you to decide which type of player you are. Personally, I think I'm not strong enough to fall into any category, but Then I want to read or tell you about his chapter on calculation. So the main premise is that calculation and our brain, while calculating, is divided into 2 systems. Now, that's or that we use the 2 systems. Now, that's a book I've read recently, and specifically I've read it because I saw it referenced here. Oh, no, it's Thinking Fast and Slow. Excuse me. That's a great book. I was thinking about another book. What's the name of the book? Oh my God, I forgot the name of the book. Anyway, Thinking Fast and Slow is a great book. You should read that. But in that book, the author, Kahneman, explains that the brain uses 2 different systems to work. System 1 is fast, automatic, frequent, emotional, and stereotypic, and subconscious. It handles all the things that we already know how to do. System 2 is slow, effortful, infrequent, logical, calculating, and conscious. And when we try to solve unusual and complex problems, we use this part of the brain. And I think, and it's suggested in the book, that System 2 is in charge of strategy and calculation over the board. So things like these are, I think, very valuable. And also, when you read Thinking Inside the Box, you will get references to many books you're going to want to read. Now, in the chapter on analyzing your own games, there are also very nice parts that are applicable to everyone. These are the segments that he describes and gives directions on. You are the master, it is the servant, challenge the machine, so how to use engines. If you do not understand it in a way you can explain it to a human, it has no value. There's a great quote, I think by Einstein, where he says, if you cannot explain something to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. I love that quote. Then put your assumptions under a microscope. Draw conclusions. If you can, show your games to a coach or a friend for feedback. Make tournament reports. Play games that are worth analyzing. Analyze other people's games, and so on. So if you read Thinking Inside the Box and have a notebook on the side, I guarantee that you are going to have at least 20 notes you're going to want to follow up on and read more about. It's just a great book. And also you can literally take it to the beach, sit down and read. You don't need the board. And that's another thing that makes it wonderful. Now we're going to have a look at what Jakob Aagaard has to say about the book himself. I had the honor to interview him about the book. And yeah, let's listen to the interview.
Yeah, so this thinking inside the box. So first of all, it's totally stolen from a Jordan's Muesli campaign because they changed the packaging.
What do
And
you
I
mean?
thought thinking inside the box, that's exactly what I want to say. Because, people always talk about thinking outside the box,
Yeah,
exceptions, trying to do things differently. Well, I think that mastery in any fields is working on the basics.
yeah,
That's what the book is. I'm talking about a lot of the basics. And there are chapters that will appeal to people and not appeal to others. There's a chapter on psychology. There's an appendix, and it's specifically an appendix, which at the time, which was a very good time of my life, I had a good work-life balance, and I was very much I was on my own also, and that made it very easy for me to at the time be vegan, and I had tremendous health benefits. I had tremendous benefits in general from it, and I think it's very good. I've always had the opinion, also at the time, that you know if you remove sugars, you remove anything processed food, you remove junk in general, alcohol, and but still eat meat, still eat dairy, then yeah, you remove the most important things. So I was plant-based. I wasn't vegan. Vegan is very much animal rights,
hmm,
animal protection. While I absolutely have a strong views on that as well. Then the benefits I had from the vegan diet were fantastic. I was so healthy, so energetic, and it was really ridiculous how well functioning I was. And then I got a respiratory virus at the end of 2017 in northern India, maybe bird flu. It was like I
okay,
was really very ill for a very long time, and a lot of things just health-wise went sideways. I was throwing blood up for 9 months and stuff. But anyway, this chapter on that, and it's an appendix because it's not a chapter. It's just like, by the way, also I had tremendous, very good experiences with that. Maybe something for you. But basically, the concept of the book is it tries to talk about everything, and like I think almost every page there's a new idea. There's a
yeah,
new concept. There's a new idea. There's something else, and it's sort of the opposite of what is the normal sort of mass market uh, book on business or psychology or something these days, which is like one idea, and then it's just like going over it again and again, and by page
yeah,
30 you just want to throw the book away. Um, there's a one of them was the growth mentality and the fixed mentality, which I do reference, which very well makes it becomes GM and FM. So,
yeah,
which I really is one of the reasons. But I read like 30, 40 pages of that book, and it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. I get the main idea, and you're not going to tell me anything else. I sort of flicked around a little bit and said, yeah, there's nothing else in this book, and
yeah,
I threw it away. But I wanted this book to be the opposite. I wanted it to be as many ideas as possible, and then take what you need to take what you can use. If when you come back to it, then maybe there will be ideas you forgot that now are the right time for you. And then at the same time, it also is a best game collection. And there are very
yeah.
few games in it, which shows that I didn't play that many good games. But there's some really nice games.
I actually found some similarities between thinking inside the box and Ben Johnson's Perpetual Chess Improvement, because his book has a summary of ideas by strong players, coaches, and
Mm-hmm.
your book is a summary of ideas by one strong player and coach. So I found
Well,
them,
by one coach, yes.
yeah, found them useful in the same way. And I mean, most people, most chess players will not admit this, but I enjoy an a chess book that's easy to read, that you can read. So I enjoyed it because of that as well. Although I have a few questions about some of the ideas. Let's say when you name 4 types of players, I'm not going to go into the detail on the idea, but
That's Dvorsky's model, yes.
Yeah, I found myself struggling to categorize myself. Actually, I didn't struggle at all. I just couldn't. I'm not knowledgeable enough to know which category I would fall into. So the categories are.
So if we take this measurement of categories where to differentiate how difficult the game is. So for example, in chess, I think there's like 14 or 16 categories where the idea is if you take the best player, and the next player should be whoever he makes a 75% score against,
Okay.
and you go down like that, something. Then there's maybe 14 levels in chess and 26 in Go, something like that.
Okay.
You're a long way down from grandmasters.
Yeah, I
You
know.
have to remember in the rating system, between 24 and 2500, is the K factor is 10.
Yeah.
Then between 2400 and I don't know where we are, 2000, 1900 or something, the K factor is 20.
Yeah.
And then it's 30, and for many cases 45, so you have this fluctuation. So actually, like for example, when I was playing Boris Gelfand in a rapid tournament in 2009 in Rome, which it was not the first time we met a few times before, but it was the first time we actually spent a longer time sitting and talking together. I almost beat him. I ran out of time, and I offered a draw, and he said, yeah, of course, I had a piece more. He won the tournament 7.5, I made like 4 or something. But I almost beat him. But when we had a press conference the day before, and I said, well, they were asking me about me and Boris. I'm saying, well, but you have to remember, if you take the K factor into effect, I was like 2550 maybe at the time, and he was 2750. Like the difference between that is the same with me and a 2300 player, or maybe even less.
Yeah. Probably even greater.
In reality, because the difference is really huge, and the difference between, let's say I was 2550 or something, or just under when I was strongest, and then you're around 2000 at the moment, you said.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's
I know.
really a lot.
I know.
So it's sort of like me going to the gym for a year and then asking someone where should I perfect my strength, where should I work on? And the trainer will look at me like, what are you talking about? All of it. Like,
I hope you enjoyed the interview about thinking inside the box. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the book. If you have read it, if you haven't read it, well, please do. I think it's a great book. And also, if you have any feedback on the channel, on Chessreads in general, we are working on improving the channel, the quality of the videos, the quality of the reviews, the quality of the platform every day. And we want to do that based on your feedback alone. So I want this to become a community project where this actually becomes something the chess audience wants to have. And I want to make it in a way that as many people as possible like it. We're going to be introducing community reviews soon. Check that out on Chessreads, and if you want to review a book, let us know. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more chess books, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye. Have a great day.